Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you another amazing recipe and such a quick and easy one. Since St. Patrick's Day is approaching, or St. Patty's, or whatever you want to call it, in France we call that Saint Patrick, which is the equivalent with the French accent, honestly. And I have the perfect recipe to celebrate since we're gonna make Irish soda bread. This soda bread is so easy. You don't need any yeast, you don't need any time to let it rest, you don't need anything. Honestly, it's so easy, so delicious. It feels like a mix between bread and brioche, which I honestly like, especially with a little bit of butter and jam as a toast. For breakfast, it's amazing. I came across this recipe during the first lockdown in France when I wanted to share with my French audience amazing bread recipes. And now it's time for me to share it with you in English since it is such an amazing recipe. So let's get right into it. We are basically gonna have some dry ingredients in one hand and some wet ingredients in another, and we're gonna mix them together today. So it is super easy and straightforward. I'm first of all going to start with my dry ingredients and with some all-purpose flour, so very basic flour. You can of course use any type of other flours that you want. For example, you can use some wholemeal flour. It would be delicious as well, but I decided to keep it simple with some all-purpose flour that we all have on hand. And to this, I'm going to add some salt. Of course, we need to salt everything. And then I'm gonna add as well a little bit of sugar and some baking powder and baking soda. This combination is what's gonna create the fluffiness and the amazing texture of this bread so that it doesn't look like a piece of cardboard once you've baked it, basically. And I'm just going to whisk all of my dry ingredients together just to make sure that these baking agents are well distributed in the flour. Time to add a little bit of butter. This is cold butter that I'm going to mix in the flour with my hands just to warm it up a bit. And we're looking for a grainy texture. Amazing, now time to work on the wet ingredients, and it's super simple. I'm just going to use some buttermilk, to which I'm going to add 1 large egg. And if you cannot find buttermilk where you live, don't worry, you can always use some whole milk and add some lemon juice or some white vinegar. This works as well, and it looks weird, but this is what's gonna end up looking like buttermilk. And then I'm just going to create kind of a hole in my dry ingredients with my spatula and pour my gorgeous buttermilk mixture in the middle of it and mix very well first with my spatula, and then I will use my hands just to shape a nice bowl. So as you can see, I'm working my dough with my hands and a little bit of flour since it is quite sticky for about 3 to 4 minutes, not more, not less. At the end of the day, it's a no yeast and no knead dough, so don't worry about that. Just mix it so that you can shape a nice bowl with it. And then we're gonna put it on a prepared baking sheet covered with some parchment paper. And I'm going to create the classic shape of an Irish soda bread, which means that using a knife, I'm going to create a cross on our beautiful dough. And then I will also stab it, if I can say so, with my knife at each corner. This basically means that you are freeing the fairies, if I remember correctly, traditionally speaking, when it comes to this Irish recipe, but I always like to do it anyway since it's quite fun to do. And then I'm just going to brush my gorgeous dough with a bit of buttermilk. This is some extra that I had on hand. You can also use an egg wash if you prefer. And then just for a simple touch and simple decoration, I'm just going to sprinkle some oats. These are regular oats, and you can also use sesame seeds or anything you prefer. Some herbs will be nice, depending on what you are planning to do with your bread later. Alright, it is already time to bake our gorgeous bread in our preheated oven at 220 degrees Celsius. That's 430 in Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna let it bake for about 15 minutes. And then I will reduce the temperature of the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 in Fahrenheit, and let it bake for another 30 minutes or so until it looks beautiful golden brown. And also if you flip it, you can also see the bottom, which should be also golden brown. And then you will let it cool completely on a wire rack just to make sure that the air goes out and that it does not get too wet. And then we can cut it. And as you will hear, the crust is amazing. And that's it. It was that easy to make Irish soda bread. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and that you're gonna try it. Honestly, it is so easy. The only thing you need on hand is really the buttermilk, since I personally never have it on hand, so I always have to buy it. But otherwise, it is so easy to make, and the texture is very interesting, a bit like a cross between a brioche and bread. Since it is a bit sweet but not too much, I hope that you will try this recipe. You can find the entire list of ingredients in the description box down below this video, as well as my social media, so Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please give me a follow on Instagram, you won't be disappointed. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel to help me grow here on YouTube, and give this video a like and a comment, and I will see you very soon for another amazing recipe. Bye!